me. All right. So that's the picture that I would like to show you. Not sure if that's visible, but anyone knows what that is. It's like a stars, 3 stars, and the galaxy. This is the three-body problem. Anyone have heard about three-body problem? Yes, there's a movie, there's the book, the movie, or the series. And this is the physics phenomenon or astrophysics phenomenon. When you have 3 bodies, like 3 planets or 3 objects in the universe, you are not able to predict what will happen. That's long story short. And because I love this type of metaphors, I use it for those 3 roles that we have in the company. So agilists, executives, and engineers, or those 3 worlds. Let's put it that way. So 3-body problem. And then once you have those 3 bodies, you may be curious what will happen, right? So engineers, agilists, and executives. I sort of observe it and I see all of the angles, because like 20 years ago, I was a Java developer, then I moved to some roles which were around Agile. And right now I'm heading the the policy department of the global company. So I sort of observe this agility from the various different angles. And what I do observe is that those 3 changes, and not changes, but those 3 challenges that we have. If we have those 3 roles, and by the way, this is the definition from astrophysics, right? Aligned to agility and agile transformation. And agile transformation is not a linear process, obviously it's not, we know that. This is not a checklist exercise, but this is a dynamic system, and the solution of the equation, or they call it equilibrium, is momentary and local. So we need to keep maintaining the transformation. We need to calibrate, speak with the executives, and maintaining it, because we know that if we don't do that, Agile may fall down. So those 3 roles and those 3 challenges: mindset gap, language gap, and the responsibility gap, or dare I say accountability gap, right? So let's start with accountability, or responsibility in that case. The main challenge executives have is that, okay, so who is accountable? Who will make sure that this transformation will be a huge success, bring the revenue? Obviously, what they do, they find someone who is in charge, and they leave them alone. Like, okay, do your work. I would like to see revenue going up, EBITDA going up. So that's first challenge. On the other hand, when we have engineers, and by the way, do we have any developers or engineers here? Yes, obviously that's Motorola's event, so I guess this is the thing. So some engineers tend to being like not the blockers, but being passive in terms of the agility, because they feel that they just would like to code, right? So that's the thing. On the other hand, though, Agilists, or people who run Agile transformation, head of Agile coaches, and so on, they would like to be surrounded by people who are really passionate about Agile, right? So this is yet another gap. The language gap, this is also the case, because we speak, when we are Agile, we speak in a different language than executives. We speak about retrospectives, we speak about daily stand-ups, we speak about burn-up charts, burn-down charts, velocity, and so on. What executives see, they see numbers. They see, and that's not a bad thing, because they need to drive the company and drive the revenue, but they see Excels. So all our fancy stuff in Jira and burn-down, burn-up, that's for us, that's for sure. But we need to understand how to translate this language to the language of executives. With the gap of language between engineers and us, or agilists and engineers, You see, I still say Agilist as us, so I still feel that I'm the part of the community. But with the technology language, we are good at that because we learn how to speak with them. We sometimes even know how to program, and we are Scrum Masters or coaches. So we are good at that. But the business language, it might be challenging. Business language, not so much, but this executive language might be a challenge. Do you know what that is? Yes, that's the hidden question about the age. Who remembers the series? So many years ago, there was a series about the team. So yes, that was a team. Whoa, did I tell you that I'm stressed about that? What's that? Can we okay, you pretend you don't see all of it. Is it something that you can help me with to come back? Because it looks like it doesn't work. Anyhow, he will do the job. I will explain you A team concept or C team concept. Perfect. Can I click just? Yes. You see, that's the reason why I have always my clicker with me. It's not like it's must have. So C teams, C executives, right? There are various different roles of executives who run the company. Obviously, the CEO, who is interested purely in the EBITDA or the results. There is and that's the second place, CHRO, or we call it in our company, for example, CPO, so Chief People Officer, to emphasize that HR is not resources, is about people, but it's mixed with Chief Product Officer. So that's why I have CHRO. CFO is interested in spending, what we spend and what actually we cancel to spend, how to cancel spending to have a bigger EBITDA, right? CTO is our friend, right? Because he or she is or supposed to be deeply engaged in agile transformation. We have CPO, like Chief Product Officer. We don't have, I haven't seen Chief Agile Officer. Have you seen it? Can you see? No. I haven't seen Chief Agile Officer. That might be the reason that he or she is not in front of the table with executives. So our view is like this. It doesn't mean it is bad, but it means that we are focused on the details. Engineers are focused very much on the details, very specialized. Agilists, we have this broader view, but some of us, we are still working inside the teams, with the teams, deeply engaged with Jira tickets, with burn-up charts, and so on. And what they have, the executives, they have the broader view because they need to have it to run the company, to see the strategy, where we will be with the company in 5 years' time, right? But they don't have this deep knowledge or deep perspective. So that's why they need us. But this is like a very difficult relationship. I would say love-hate relationship because they need us and they would like to listen to us, but at the same time, they have their own goals and future view of the company. So that's the challenge the first challenge that I came across, the ownership vacuum. I mentioned it already, yeah? That they say, okay, transformation, agile transformation, good stuff. I will find a person, transformation director, will delegate everything to him or her, and that's pretty much it, right? So that's a big problem. The second problem what we have is that we are in the middle management, right? But we are in the middle because we need to speak with developers to convince them that Agile is actually very good, and we are good at that, but at the same time, we need to convince executives with different language, different aspects. The other trap that we have is Agile theater trap. So everyone pretends that we are Agile. We have stand-ups, we have retrospectives, we have everything. We have a great fun. Developers maybe not so, right? But everyone is, or everything is set it up, but there is a big but. But there are still reporting that's going on a weekly or monthly basis, which is waterfall reporting, right? There are still lack of trust in executive level. So they still treat us, and I don't have this picture, I think, here, but I generated the picture yesterday. It was good, but I decided to remove that. Executives, they may see our workshops, our post-it notes, our burnout chart as a sort of not valued effort. And why I'm thinking how to put it out there, because I don't want to devalue it. I'm the one who see the huge value in it. I'm the one who is from this background of the workshops, trainings, and so on. But when I work on the level, when I'm here right now, or to speak with the executives, it really doesn't matter for them. And that's my job, to explain them that those posts on the flip charts that we have on the workshops actually don't matter when it comes to changing the EBITDA, changing the revenue of the company. And that's the critical skill. If you have it, or if you can learn how to do it, you will be very needed in the company. So that's that. Executives expect detailed upfront plans still, and they don't have this flexibility to say, oh, we don't know what we'll be doing in 5 years' time, or even in 1 year time. They need to have roadmaps, because executives are not the last people in this chain. There are investors of the company who expect those sort of waterfallish report. So that's the challenge. Engineers try to manage those double standards, so have the retrospectives and have some good practices, agile practices. At the same time, they need to deliver estimates for sales departments, for example. So that's the trick. And the third trap, this is misalignment trap. I already mentioned something about that we are not aligned with executives. We are not aligned with each other. They understand different thing in terms of agility. We understand a different thing. They still they still see Agile as a tool to speed up delivery. I know how it sounds, but they do. It's always the first question when I speak with them. It's always the first question. Okay, so how much time CFO asks question, how much time we will get out of it to invest in other applications, or why we not be faster enough. So that's the big challenge. All right, but we spoke about challenges, I guess, that some of you or many of you have heard about those challenges many times. So that's the solutions that I used. This is not the solutions that are out there as a models. This is more solutions that I came up with to manage my stakeholders. First solution, what I did, I described 3 levels of alignment. Operational alignment on the teams level, that's obvious. Tactical alignment on the management level, and the third one is strategic. And I came across, but I wanted to think, what is the need that those people have inside their brains? So first level, operational, what do we need? That's easy, right? We need autonomy, we want autonomy, we want to be autonomous. We need psychological safety to work effectively. And we need clear definition of done, definition of ready, all the good stuff on the team level. Then we have tactical. So middle management, agile coaches, managers, leaders on the middle level. They would like to know clear boundaries, clear planning cadences that we have, OKRs or KPIs, whatever you call the goals. What is the goal of them, expected from them? Budgeting conflicts and dependencies. So they already have it in the middle management. They have already some budget, so they need to manage this budget, and they have a lot of dependencies. So that's the need. And the third group, which is the most important here today, is the strategic executives. And they have a need, obviously that's not a full list, right? But what I observed with my stakeholders, they have a need of influence or control, how we call it. But they need to feel that they have control because they are the ones running the organization at the end of the day. Investors are coming to them. They have a need of security and consistency, so everything needs to be in place because that's their baby, right? They are running this application, this organization. So what I do, and that's the model that is based on the change model that is out there on the market. But I would like to show you my version, or what I do, what I use, is that those two pieces at the beginning, we usually forget about it, or even not forget, but don't spend so much time on it. Because what we do as Agilists, we would like to run a transformation, or someone hires us to run the transformation. So we say, okay, right. So into this, and that training, we need to embed the culture, we need to speak with the people, and then we need to find the pilot teams here to start with. But this is not the case for the executives. For executives, you need to have two steps before. So you need to build a very huge awareness, like a big awareness in the executive team to make them feel that this Agile is for them because this is actually a strategic change. It's not like bringing value right now here, but this is a strategic change. So spending the hours with them and explaining. Then you need to get buy-in from executives. What usually works when you tell like big brands like, I don't know, Google, Facebook, Coca-Cola, Netflix is a good example, right? Netflix does that. We should do that because Netflix or Spotify is no longer, right? So sexy on the market. But yeah, this company or OpenAI, right? I'm curious how it's agility in OpenAI, but OpenAI does it. We should do it. They have this, and this benefit. We calculated that when we estimate the EBITDA, it will change, it will impact within 2 years' time. So obviously we don't know, right? But we need to speak their languages, their language. By the way, when they do these strategic programs and estimate the share price, for example, the value of the company within next year, next 2 years, they also don't know, right? This estimation. So we need to show them this value. And then once we have it, we have them on board. Obviously, we are good at awareness and buy-in for engineers to explaining them why it's important. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about purely speaking with directors and executives. Those 2 points are critical. And if we have at least one person from this group on board with us, they support us, definitely we can move further. What's important also, I guess that you know, because you are the Agile community, that you need to find the pilot teams. So not to say that, all right, we have 20 teams, we will run Agile transformation in 20 teams. You just need to find one team, let's say of 5 people, change the process, change the behavior, and then show the successes to executives. And then once we show them the successes, they will be more on board with us. And then all the good stuff. So training, piloting, right? Showing successes, scaling. We like scaling Agile, right? So we know I'll be not talking about that one. I'll be talking about the last one, which we may don't like. Who of you don't like this word, institutionalization? I will not tell it today. But making sure that Agile stick with the company, there's processes of the Agile governance, board meetings or directors meeting, reviewing Agile KPIs. Dare I say compare Agile KPIs between the teams? We do need to have it, because if we don't have it, and we are afraid. I remember one of my transformations that people were so afraid of introducing dashboards, KPI dashboards, or DORA metrics, or whatever we call it, because they thought that we'll be comparing team to team and everything will be broken. This is not Agile. it has to be there, right? I'm not saying comparing teams. I'm not saying increasing velocity because we know that this is, bullshit, right? But I'm saying that there should be a process because this block is supposed to be in purple as well because this block is for executives. They feel this control. Without this block, they will not probably buy into that. The other tool that I came across, not came across, but I invented for myself just, is the level of maturity of executives. And you don't see that probably because that's the weird colors and the weird light. But the first one is passive sponsor. So someone that says yes, but then forget about thing and come back a couple of months later asking about the money, right? Okay, so what's out of it for me? The second one is supportive observer. So someone who supports you, who thinks, yes, those guys will deliver it, I support it, but I just observe. So I still deliver, or I still need waterfall reports, financial reports, estimations reports, whatever, to deliver to the board. And the fun starts on the third and fourth level. Third is active enabler, so changing the reporting, changing the KPI, saying, okay, we'll not be sending those waterfall reports anymore because we changed the way of working. So if you have someone on this level, your transformation is is going to the good direction. And the fourth one, which is beautiful, strategic integrator, he or she speaks in front of the other executives and convince them that you are doing a great job. Aligning the culture, aligning the new ways of reporting and so on. And why I'm showing you that? Because each stakeholder I had one by one, I was taking it into this journey. So almost all were one, maybe one, two, and everyone, I wanted to move just one category. I didn't expect everyone to be here. And I was not, unhappy with the organization because there's no support, right? I accepted there's no support because if I would, let's imagine you have your company, 10 people company, you have 1 million zloty, you pay every month, you pay like 10,000 for every single person. And they come to you saying, oh, we'll be working in Agile. We'll be spending 4 hours per week on the ceremonies. And you need to pay for those 4 hours, right? So it is not that easy to say, okay, yes, do it, whatever you want, bring just the value. You probably will ask a lot of questions because you're spending your money. And executives, they're spending their money. I mean, not their money per se, but they have, like profits and shares and everything. So that's the conversation we need to have. And I moved the person one by one from the first state to the fourth state. Obviously, not everyone is a fourth state yet. I just have one person of that, but still. All right, and coming to the end, I have 4 minutes, and I would like to show you those models. I assume everyone knows those models. Is there anyone? That's not a good question. Is there anyone who doesn't know the model? So I will assume that everyone knows the model. This is the model of the various groups and distribution, normal distribution in the population of the group that are ready for the change or not ready for the change, or how they are acting. There are innovators who are keen on jumping in and changing the thing. They are, most population is the majority, late, early majority, and the last one, laggards, are the blockers, and we need to accept that. So that's the model. But I'm not here to talk about this model. And also I'm not here about talking this model. This model is a Gartner hype cycle. So very in a nutshell, when we came across agility, our expectations is inflated. We are so enthusiastic that we'll be delivering Agile. And then just we are trying to work with it. We realize it's not so easy. And we are going down to this truth of this illusionism. But those two, I wanted just to show you those two because you need to remember that every single person that is on this diagram in those groups, most likely we go with this cycle. So when you are the innovators or very optimistic people who like to introduce something, you may go with this curve, and you end up of this plateau of productivity. Okay, my expectations are not inflated, realistic, but I can work with that. And you start working with other groups or with even people in innovators group, and they are like moved in a phase with this chart. So they are starting this journey. And even though you already forgot that you had this trap here, they will have it. So you need to remember that not everyone is going exactly on the same time through the change with you. And the same with this one. This one is Kubler-Ross cycle of grief. When you lose something or when you change something in the company, most likely you will go through all of this. It's similar to the previous one because you know, by the way, how the models works. Our brain needs to have the model. So there are scientists who run the research and produce the model. But obviously, this is just a model, so not everyone is going through exactly those phases, right? They can be mixed. We can go and back and going back to the phases. But general idea of our engineering minds is to have a model. So we do have it. And also, when you introduce change, introduce transformation, and you have your executives or your teams on various different groups on the left-hand side, you need to remember that if you are the innovator and someone tells you, okay, right now you need to back to the waterfall model, you will be disappointed, right? So you will go to this depression trap. Then you will work out, okay, but I have a mortgage, I need to work with this company. All right, so maybe it will not be that bad. But you have a lot of people who will be in the trap, even if you are not. So just remember that. All right, and at the end, this is the organization from my perspective, like a huge ship, Docker, and we are doing many things to turn it left or turn it right or change the course. And if we are good at that, the transition is from Polish is tugboat. There's a small tugboat over here, and if you can imagine this huge ship, in the ports there are many tugboats who move this ship around, right? So if you are the person who can move the organization around, work with leaders on the executive level, leaders with the team and engineers, you will be definitely, I can say unstoppable, definitely needed in the organization and valued in the organization. Talking about sailing, because I like sailing, I would like to leave you with this quote from Edward Gibbon, that the wind and the waves are always on the side of the ablest navigator. And I transition it to the corporation world or to our organization world, that the organizational changes are such a wind and the waves, right? So the organizational changes are always on the side or the ablest agilists. Thank you very much. I have a screensaver here, so not sure if that's 25, but I think that's 25. Oh, by the way, this is the book that I wrote last year, so you can find it on Amazon if you are interested. And this is the QR code, not for the book, obviously, but for the Crossweb module to get the feedback. So I'd like to ask you for the feedback. Thank you very much and have a good dinner or lunch. Thank you.